Welcome back to Clue Me In, the podcast where we dig into the world's strangest disappearances, unsolved crimes, and cases that leave you with more questions than answers. I'm Liv.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Grace, your go-to expert for bold theories, questionable logic, and airtight conclusions.
Each week, Kay and I break down a real-life mystery, while Grace reacts, questions, and ultimately delivers her definitive theory. In today's case, the baffling disappearance of the Tromp family. 5 people vanished from this farm in Australia, then slowly began reappearing, scattered across the country with no clear explanation.
The whole family sounds like a Netflix documentary.
Right? But what makes this even weirder is that no one knows why they left, or what exactly they were running from.
All right, so this story begins like any other Monday until an entire family simply vanishes. So Mark and Jacoba Tromp lived on a quiet berry farm in Sylvan, Victoria with their 3 adult children. So there was Rihanna, she's 29, Mitchell, he was 25, and Ella, 22. And by all accounts, they were a private, hardworking family, but on August 29th, 2016, everything changed.
That's a little eerie.
Yep.
So that morning, the whole family jumped into their silver SUV and drove off, leaving behind their phones, passports, and their credit cards. All they took with them was some cash, the house wasn't even locked, and the phones were found tossed in the trash, and some of the farm equipment was still running, almost like they left in a panic. But there was no sign of threat, no intruder, no natural disaster, nothing, just gone.
All I know is that if I left my phone, purposefully or unpurposefully, that would be a red flag.
Yes, it would.
And
Especially the kids, like, for them to leave their phones.
Our age, or so
Yeah.
That's definitely interesting.
For sure. And it gets stranger. So authorities found Mitchell's phone had tossed his phone out the window about 20 miles from their home. So all of their phone was left in the trash at home except for Mitchell's, who was the only brother. But it was tossed out the window 20 miles from their home, just left in a ditch.
So did Mitchell just not get the memo that they
Right?
Right.
Like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
And they just found it and were like, bye.
Oh, sorry, Mom and Dad, I forgot. That's very, it definitely seems, intentional, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But, no passports or credit cards, just cash. No phones. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So no one knows where they went or why they went there until the next day, August 30th, Ella and Rihanna show up at the police station in Goulburn 6 hours from their home to report that their parents are missing. But then they just leave. They just walk right out with no other words.
Interesting. What if... I'm already starting on the theories.
What
if the kids forced the parents to leave and then did something to the parents and then reported them missing? And what if it wasn't voluntary?
Yeah.
Already some good thoughts.
Yeah,
Definitely
good
off
thoughts,
to a
good thoughts.
interesting start already.
But you may just want to keep listening.
All right, I got it.
So, I mean, keep throwing out your theories. Keep throwing those out.
Of course, my definitive conclusions.
Yes, for sure. So you would think, after they go to this police station, that they just, head home after that. But that's obviously way too easy.
Right.
So later that day, police get a call from a man in Canberra. And he says a girl appeared in his car in a catatonic state. So police get a call. This man is like, okay, there's someone in my car. According to him, he said, I felt a kick to the back of my seat and I turned around and I saw 2 legs stretched across the back between my seat and the floor. Those are his words.
That is
verbatim.
terrifying.
Yes.
Do we know, it's okay if you don't, how far away? So they were found in the police station 6 hours from home. And then do we know where Canberra is from?
We're about to find out.
Okay. Also, just imagine getting in your car.
56 miles.
56, so probably about another hour.
Yeah. About an hour and a half.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be terrifying.
Yeah. No, for sure.
More reason to check your car before you get in.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So he sees her, and then she sits up, stares ahead, and he's like, okay, who are you? What's your name? And she doesn't know it. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know
amnesia?
who she is.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, and that girl happened to be Rihanna.
Yeah. Shocker.
Right,
the
right.
oldest Tromp daughter. So police arrived and admitted her to a psychiatric facility.
Okay.
But meanwhile, the rest of the family was still missing.
Okay. So they leave.
Yep.
Then the parents are reported missing the next day. 6 hours away. And then an hour and a half away from that, this daughter's missing. Clearly not herself.
Right.
And then at that time, the other two siblings were also missing.
Yes.
And Rihanna was actually one of the girls that went and reported the parents. But then she has no memory.
Whoa.
So then on August 31st, so now it's the next day. We're
Okay.
just going day by day.
So 2 days later.
Yep, 2 days later. So Rihanna was the oldest sister. Her and Ella had gone to the police station. So Rihanna's found, checked, admitted to a psychiatric facility. Now, Ella returns to the family farm in a stolen car.
Okay.
So police were already there because, family's missing and all this stuff.
And you made a police report.
And they made a police report. Right, exactly. And she explained that after the police visit in Goldberg, she and Rihanna decided to just go their separate ways. And then she claimed that she came back home to take care of the horses.
In a stolen vehicle.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you left with nothing.
Yeah.
Like you weren't coming back.
Yeah. Okay, so
This is definitely, really interesting.
I know, and at this point, the story is changing by the hour, right?
Right.
So no one knows who's safe, who's missing, or even what's going on because everyone keeps changing their story.
And then they're missing 1 minute, show up the next.
Yep.
Exactly. So the police asked Ella questions. She made them tea and almost answered nothing. She just kept saying things like, it was just so weird.
She's weird.
Yeah.
What is going on? Also, you get home after everything that's already happened. Your sister's in a mental facility. And you're just making the police tea.
Right.
That's so bizarre.
So pretty soon after that, so same day, the son, Mitchell, returns home too. It turns out that he ditched the family early on and had taken a train back to their house.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder, Mitchell's just doing his own thing this whole time. Did nobody clue him in on what they were going to do? And maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Poor Mitchell. First the phone, then the train.
Well, they make us even more confused because him and Ella actually did an interview, but it raised more questions than answers.
Of course.
Because Mitchell said, I thought getting out was the best idea at the time. In hindsight, maybe I should have stayed and helped.
Oh my God.
But no one knows, help with what?
Yeah.
And Ella said then, I was just so confused about the whole thing, and I still am. Confused about what?
You go and make a police report. So when's the last time you saw your parents?
Right.
Where? I don't know. I feel like there's just, did this whole family just get amnesia and then...
It is so weird.
Gosh.
It's so weird.
Okay.
And to be honest, this interview was really eerie. So if you want to view it on your own, check out our description for the full link to watch it yourself.
All right, so now we're going on to the next day. All right, September 1st, Jacoba, the mom, is found.
Okay.
She had actually checked herself into a hospital in New South Wales for what she described as stress-related illness.
That tracks.
Yeah,
actually.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds a little stressful to me. And then the next day, she was transferred to the same hospital as Rihanna.
So,
Yeah, this is 2016, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like your symptoms have to be, at this point, in this day and age. I would think. Now, obviously, they're in a different country. But I would think that the symptoms would have to be pretty severe to be institutionalized. Like, it's not just...
Well, she was found in a catatonic state, like Rihanna was. So, like...
So then, like, for the mom to be transferred in the same hospital, I feel like something bigger happened that apparently nobody knows about.
Yeah. So she was transferred to the same hospital as her daughter.
Right.
So now it's Friday.
Okay.
5 days since they left. Still no sign of Mark. And until Saturday, September 3rd, when he was found wandering near an airport in Waggarata, physically fine. Just walking.
What? What is going on? Does he know anything?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But it's just crazy. Like, okay, 1 week later, all 5 family members have been found in various
radically
states.
Changed from how they were when they left.
Exactly. And, like, there's been no drugs found, no crime scene, no signs of violence. Just 5 people who have scattered across Australia with no explanation.
And, like, conveniently no phones.
Right.
Because you just conveniently buried or threw them in the trash. Or in a ditch if you're Mitchell.
If you're Mitchell.
Poor Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Gosh.
All right, so let's go ahead and unpack the strangest details in the case. So, all right, so we've got the family left abruptly, phones, electronics, ditch, documents left behind, all of it.
Makes sense.
Yep. And then Mitchell tossed his phone. They all traveled together, but then separated without warning.
And then Ella stole a car, not out of fear, just to go home.
And feed the horses.
Feed the horses.
All of this stuff has already happened, because that makes sense.
No evidence of drugs, alcohol, or foul play.
2 family members that were ended up in psychiatric care.
And none of them ever offered a solid explanation.
And, like, to this day, the family has never fully explained what they were running from or, like, why they fled.
Are the mom and daughter still...
They're living right now
Are
as
they
a happy family. Like, they are back.
And they've just never explained.
So, like, the mom and daughter got released from the hospital, and everybody's fine and dandy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does Rihanna remember who she is?
So, I'm trying to remember because it really is just so murky and weird.
Yeah.
But there was something that I was watching where they were saying, like, I think it was the interview with Mitchell and Ella, where they were saying that, like, the financial struggles in their life had just gotten to such a, like, big, like, that's what drove them. He was, like, well, yeah, it just, like, drove my family to run away because, like, things were just, like, overwhelming.
Were they, like, a part of some mafia or something?
I don't
what?
know. I don't know.
But then, like, Mitchell, I'm gonna leave. Oh, I should have stayed and helped. From what? Nobody knows anything?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just from his parents' craziness is, like, my guess, but then they all seem to be out of it.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What did Rihanna see?
Right.
That made her go into a catatonic state.
Yeah.
Kiki, like, in a stranger's car.
Yeah.
Not knowing who you are.
Yep.
Like, something very traumatic had to have happened. And
that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, like, you don't just, like, wake up one day and say, like, oh, I'm gonna...
Yeah, there's, like, a big question mark between the time she told the police about her missing parents and walked out and then ended up in the car.
Because, like, she was fine then.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you're just... I don't know. That's just bizarre.
So, what do people think happened? So, here are some of the most common theories. So, the first theory is shared psychosis, which is also called folie à deux.
Okay.
And it's a rare phenomenon where one person's delusion spreads to others. So, many think that Mark, the father's paranoia, triggered a psychological chain of reaction.
Okay.
So then, like she was talking about with Mitchell, talking about the financial stress, some speculate that financial trouble on the farm caused them to spiral, but police haven't found, like, any red flags in their financials, so...
That doesn't...
Yeah.
If you're gonna get to that point, you're, like, probably about to file bankruptcy or something. Or,
Right. Yeah.
Like...
That's not where they were.
Yeah.
So then there's fear of surveillance. So earlier reports said that the family feared being watched, which could explain the phone ditching.
Yeah, for sure.
And this next one, honestly, is kind of my favorite because,
Yeah.
like, I have been thinking about it, like, the entire time we've been talking is, like, the family having some sort of, like, cult involvement. So, internet...
That would make sense.
Right? Exactly. So, internet theories suggest that maybe there might have been some influence by, like, a cult or maybe some fringe ideology, especially given that they were so synchronized in their behavior and paranoia that, like, all
And,
of
like,
them...
secrecy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
it was almost like they couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're... what if, surveillance and cults? Like, what if they were being surveyed by...
Yeah.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
true. That's crazy.
Yeah, like
You
somebody
know.
was controlling them.
That's crazy.
And they
Yeah.
were on the run or something.
Yeah. Another one, so environmental exposure. So a lot of people actually believe that something on the berry farm, like a pesticide exposure, may have triggered neurological symptoms. Like, but,
But just 1 week.
Yeah.
And never again.
Yeah, and like no toxicology confirmed this, but it still hasn't completely been ruled out. It's just
Yeah.
not maybe on the top of my radar.
But also for only, like, 2 people to read. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 Well, and then there's always, like, the real threat kind of theory, which is kind of, I feel like, goes hand in hand with, like, maybe being in financial trouble.
Yeah.
That finally, like, their fear wasn't delusional, and that some believe that they were, like, actually running from something that
Or
was
someone.
dangerous. Yeah, or
The
someone.
cult that was surveying
Exactly,
them.
yeah.
Yep. All right, Grace, you've heard every bizarre twist and chilling clue.
The pieces are laid out. What is your theory?
What really happened to the Tromp family?
Okay, I have to go. This is like the easiest theory I feel like I've ever said so far, is they were 100% in a cult.
Love it.
And they were being watched, hence the phone ditching. Mitchell just didn't get the memo. They were in this cult, fleeing. Maybe they weren't delusional. Maybe it was like an active threat. And then, I don't know, maybe something happened. Realized if they ran, it would be scary. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. And I think it is like cult, but then also like the real threat of maybe they did something the cult didn't like. Or,
Right.
Maybe
and they
someone
were
found
running.
them and...
Okay, but then why are they just back living like a happy family now?
Because maybe they're scared. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or brainwashed.
Oh, like maybe they're still involved in
Yes.
the cult.
Yeah,
I'm
and so like they were
thinking-
like still trying to cover up.
I'm thinking they fled to try and leave, and then maybe they realized...
Oh my
They
god.
That's
couldn't.
not an
Gosh,
option.
Guys, that's crazy.
Yeah, maybe like the
Wouldn't
cult...
the police have like investigated that to like maybe find something? Like
What I found in a lot of these cases is there's a lot of details that go missed, I feel like. A lot. But I don't know.
I
Unless
like
it's
it,
like
though.
an underground cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. And then maybe the leader got to them, threatened them since they made the police report or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I'm gonna go with today.
And I love it. Good theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good conclusion.
Yep. I love
also
it.
just cults are real, and it makes the most
Yeah.
sense if there's no financial
For sure.
trail of issues, and for them all to they were spooked by something.
Yeah,
They
and
were
I think I
definitely
could
spooked.
believe that maybe there was like a pesticide or some type of something on the farm, but like since nothing was like found of
Yeah.
that, but that would make sense.
And it never happened again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they're still farming and they're still happy.
Yeah.
Like it's not like once a year everybody goes crazy. I don't
Exactly.
know.
So I think
Yeah.
the conclusion is cult.
Yes, 100%.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Clue Me In. If you want to dig deeper into the Tromp family case, don't forget to follow, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and leave us a review.
Do you think the paranoia started with one person or was something else going on entirely? Let us know what you think.
And maybe if your parents tell you to leave and flee and leave your phone at home, maybe pull a Mitchell and maybe accidentally forget that's what you're doing and just get on a train by yourself and just leave.
And maybe ask a few questions before you go in.
Yeah, maybe.
See you next time on
Clue me in.